let's talk about something really important. If your company's cybersecurity training is just this one-time annual event, you might as well be leaving the front door wide open for attackers. So today, we're going to dig into why that old check-the-box approach just doesn't cut it anymore, and what the science actually says about building a defense that works. Ready? Let's get into it.
First things first, I want you to just look at this number, 82%. What do you think that is? I'll give you a hint. It's not the success rate of a new firewall or how much more a data breach costs this year. It's something way more human.
That's right. A whopping 82% of all data breaches have a human element. We're talking about everything from falling for a phishing scam to just using a weak password. It's kind of crazy when you think about it, right? It just goes to show you that your biggest security asset or your biggest liability isn't some fancy piece of tech, it's your people.
And that's the human factor problem in a nutshell. We know people are at the heart of security, but here's the kicker. A single annual training session it's not even close to enough to prepare them for the kind of threats we're all facing today.
I absolutely love this analogy because it just makes so much sense. You wouldn't hit the gym once in January and then expect to be fit for the rest of the year, would you? So why on earth do we think one training session is enough to keep our team's security skills sharp for 12 whole months?
And believe me, the stakes here could not be higher. When that security awareness starts to fade, one single accidental click can be completely catastrophic. I mean, for a small business, an attack like that is often an extinction-level event. This isn't just about checking a compliance box anymore. It's about pure survival.
So why does all that knowledge from the annual training just seem to evaporate? Well, the answer is actually rooted in a really well-known psychological principle. Let's take a quick look at the science behind why our brains kind of let this crucial info slip away.
Okay, this right here. This visualizes the problem perfectly. Based on research from the USNX Security Conference, it turns out an employee's ability to spot threats stays pretty strong for, say, about 4 months. But then, look what happens. Right around that 6-month mark, it just nosedives. There's this huge drop. By the time you're getting ready for next year's training, well, they're deep in the danger zone.
So here's the bottom line. If you're only training once a year, you're basically accepting that for 6 months, or maybe even more, your team's defenses are running on fumes. That is a massive, gaping window of vulnerability for any organization.
Okay, so we've laid out the problem pretty clearly. Annual training just isn't cutting it. So what is the solution? Let's turn to the data and see what the experts and industry leaders are doing. What's the most effective rhythm to actually beat that forgetting curve? Well, this survey data from 2025 shows a huge shift in the industry. Just look at that. 38% of tech leaders are now doing security training monthly. That's more than double the organizations still clinging to that old annual model. The trend couldn't be clearer. Frequent, consistent training is the new standard.
And this quote from Professor Daniel Salo just nails the why behind that trend. See, it's not that people aren't smart, it's just how our brains are wired. We forget. And those constant, gentle reminders are exactly what prevent that one critical lapse in judgment that leads to disaster.
So what's the game plan here? Well, groups like ISACA basically recommend a layered approach. Think of your big annual training as the baseline. That's just the start. To do better, you should add quarterly refreshers to stay ahead of that forgetting curve. But the real gold standard? That's monthly micro-trainings, backed up with hands-on simulations.
Now, I know what you might be thinking. Monthly training? My team is going to have a total meltdown from training fatigue. And you know what? That's a totally fair point. But frequent training doesn't have to mean long or boring. The secret is to change the method, not just the schedule.
Let's just put these two models side by side. The old way was all about compliance, right? These long, boring sessions just to tick a box. The new way is about building a culture. It's about using short, engaging bits of content that people actually remember and that actually change their behavior. So how do you actually do it? Well, first, you embrace microlearning. We're talking 5-minute videos, not hour-long lectures. Then, you mix it up. Use quizzes, games, videos, keep it fresh. Third, you gotta use regular phishing simulations so people get real-world practice in a safe space. And finally, make it relevant. Your finance team needs different tips than your software developers do. So the big question is, does all this actually work? Well, the data here is it's just undeniable. Take a look. For a team with zero training, the average phishing click rate is a terrifying 27%. That's almost 1 in 4 people. But after just 1 year of this continuous, bite-sized training with simulations, that number absolutely plummets, all the way down to 4%. I mean, that's an 86% improvement. That is huge.
All right, let's bring this all home. This whole process, it's about something much bigger than just remembering not to click a link. It's about fundamentally shifting how every single person in your organization thinks about security.
This is where we have to totally reframe the goal. We're not just training people, we're empowering them. When your employees feel equipped and responsible, they stop being potential weak links and they become your most valuable security asset. They become a human firewall.
And this is what a real security culture looks like. It's when security stops being this thing you have to do once a year. Instead, it gets woven right into the fabric of daily work. It influences decisions and becomes a natural habit for everyone, from the newest intern all the way up to the CEO.
So I'll just leave you with this one question to think about for your own team. Is your security just a checklist you tick off once a year while hoping for the best? Or are you actively, day in and day out, building a culture of security that protects you all year long? The answer to that question could really make all the difference.